Welcome to our latest segment here at the Sports Brief Podcast. It's a new segment I'm very happy and very excited to bring to you guys called Standouts and Fizzouts. Everybody's got their, their immediate reactions to games. And I was just thinking about this with my wife today. Like, how can we bring you the latest information on the channel and bring it in our own way? Everybody's got winners and losers. Everybody's got, showouts and blowouts, whatever. But this is our version of, exactly what that is. And it's standouts and fizzouts, a little bit, obviously standouts from the game, players you noticed, and a lot of guys that may have stood out to you, or standouts, if you will, or fizzouts. One of my favorite things in this world is pop. Like, I think pop should replace water. Absolutely. I love Coke, Pepsi, doesn't matter. I love all of it. So, and my wife probably gets after me a little bit because of how much I actually do drink, because I love pop. Maybe that's why I have so much energy. I don't know. But overall, this is our newest version of, winners and losers. It's standouts and fizzouts. Let us know what you guys think as we get moving here. Hey, maybe one day we'll see if we get a sponsorship. No, just kidding. No, Coca-Cola or Pepsi. That's the only two we'll do. And by the way, if you go to Walmart and you get, what is it, like the any of the colas that are like 99 cents, those are just as good. Like, it doesn't matter. Any pop to me absolutely does not matter. So today, standouts and fizzouts, we're talking about the Las Vegas Raiders versus the Minnesota Vikings preseason game one. And I got to be honest with you, there was a lot of players that stood out to us. So we'll bring you right to it. So right off the bat, we'll start with the Vikings. Kellen Mond and Sean Mannion, that was the big question. We talk about having two guys going at it for the number 2 quarterback position, having that backup quarterback who's going to be the guy. And Sean Mannion, there was some good, there was some bad. It was mostly meh. Okay, I mean, Sean Mannion is just one of those guys that the best is he's going to be a guy that just he won't necessarily lose a game for you, but he won't win a game for you either. So I think he's kind of in that happy medium, that middle of the road kind of a quarterback. But Kellen Mond, like, throughout training camp, he'll throw an absolute dime to somebody, and then he'll throw an interception on a screen. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So it's been really frustrating and kind of puzzling, to be honest with you, with the former Texas A&M standout. Yeah, that's it, standout. He's definitely our first standout for today, talking about a guy 9 of 14, 119 yards, 2 touchdowns, threw 2 absolute dimes to Albert Wilson. I think he's going to be a lot of fun to watch. With the Vikings, he might be knocking on the door of that wide receiver 5, wide receiver 6 spot, to be honest with you. So Kellen Mond needed a strong game today and to really separate himself from Sean Mannion, and he absolutely did that. And the thing about Kellen Mond was, last preseason we saw him, kind of just run. Like, we never really saw him stand in the pocket, deliver some throws, and find a way to get the ball down the field. Now, he did a lot of running. He really did a lot of scrambling. And he did some of that, but overall, I felt like you saw a quarterback that was way more comfortable, made some dime throws out there. We're talking about the one to Myron Mitchell, the one he made to Olabisi Johnson, but he dropped it. It is what it is. Overall, I really liked how Kellen Mond really stepped up throughout that game. I thought he did a very good job. Again, Sean Mannion, nothing too impressive. But the Vikings running game, like, top to bottom, the first offensive line, I didn't notice a whole lot. I think Jesse Davis allowed a sack. Other than that, like Garrett Bradbury, it's time. We got to continue getting more competition for this because he's clearly not the guy. I don't care who starts at center at this point. Just somebody that can't get bench pressed into Kirk Cousins' lap, please. Ezra Cleveland, the rest of them were relatively solid. I liked what I saw there. But as far as the running game goes, Ty Chandler, 5 carries, 50 yards. Kenny Nwangu as well had 7 carries for 41 yards. Like, there was a lot of really good things that I saw from those two. It's not even just change of pace backs. It's they're running behind that second team offensive line. Which was very good. It had guys like Oli Udo out there, Kyle Hitton, Austin Schlottman at center, and then also Ed Ingram at right guard there. So, I really like what I saw from that second team offensive line. They did a lot of good things. So, and we're going to take deeper dives and do deeper dives on this, but, the Ty Chandler and Kenny Nwangu, those two had really good days, and a big reason was because that second team offensive line was getting it done. Even though, I got to be honest, Austin Schlottman got completely stood up by Andrew Billings from the Raiders. Man, that was rough. That was absolutely rough. Especially, I think it was about midway through the second quarter in that goal line situation. Yeah. Anyway, so that was rough to see. But other than that, they cleared the running lanes. The Vikings were able to get after the running game and do their thing there. Now, in terms of catching the football, you had Emir Smith-Marset, who had 3 catches for 31 yards. He's probably locked down that number 4 wide receiver spot. Then probably Olabisi Johnson, then Albert Wilson. I don't know. Maybe it's like there's still a couple of positions that are wide open for this, so that's going to be very interesting to see. As far as from this group, really, I didn't see anybody that didn't that underperformed. Actually, as far as our first fizz out, I would say Bryant Koback coming up. I believe what was it out of Toledo or something like that. I'm gonna look that up right now. Bryant Koback. Toledo, yeah, I believe it was, yeah. Anyway, yes, he was one of those guys that I was actually really excited for. I thought he was a guy that was going to come in and do a lot of damage right away, but he had a tough time catching the football. Didn't have a lot of running lanes. Wasn't all his fault, I'll admit that. But overall, I was expecting a little bit more out of the former Toledo product as well. But he also had KJ Osborne caught a pass. Okay, it was all right. But overall, it was a little rough, for Bryant Koback, like I said. And as wide receivers, other than Albert Wilson and Amir Smith-Marset, Tristan Jackson also had a good day, the former Ram coming over. So, overall, not a whole lot of fizz-outs on the receiving side of it. But the defense, there were some guys there that, as far as fizz-outs and standouts from the defense, for the Vikings defense, I like me some James Lynch. Jordan Hicks continues to impress me. It's Troy Dye, what was it, the former 4th-round pick coming up out of Oregon. I really feel like he's a guy that just hasn't quite gotten it done. Like, he is a guy that, quite honestly, he had 6 tackles tonight, but it was kind of one of those things where you just saw the old Troy Dye that just, had a tough go about it. I believe on that touchdown pass to, hold on, I got to see this. Who was it to? I think it was DJ Turner, there it was, who had that 35-yard touchdown pass. I mean, it's not like Troy Dye had a shot at it. I understand that, or maybe it was Blake Lynch. I think it was Blake Lynch. But overall, wasn't really impressed with Troy Dye today. Even though I do think he probably will find a way to make the roster in terms of special teams. But when he's gotten his opportunities, he hasn't really wowed me, to be honest with you. But Jordan Hicks, really liked what he did. Cameron Dancer, didn't see anything too glaring. I believe he actually made a really nice play on that. What was it, that short screen, or really early in the game? Really made some nice plays there. Cameron Dancer, I think, is going to make some things happen. Josh Metellus, another fizz out. I think what was it? I can't remember who it was. Was it DJ Turner again, or whoever it was? Had that just what was supposed to look like an interception for Josh Metellus. It didn't quite go down like that. So yes. As far as Perry Nickerson got beat on that DJ Turner 35-yard touchdown. Another fizz out there. Harrison Phillips, though, that is a standout. Had a sack. He is going to be a bully on the inside there, as well as T.Y. McGill also had a couple sacks on the day. Miles Dorn with that nice strip on I think it was Britton Brown late there in the game, which looked like it was going to go back to the Vikings, but it didn't end up that way. I like what I saw from Jalen Twyman. Asezi Otomehu, I'm still waiting on a little bit more for him to kind of wow us. I know Armand Watts had that sack, but if we're being honest, that, as much as I would like to give him the credit, I felt like, that was a great play. We cannot take that away from him by any stretch of the imagination. But Patrick Jones II was the one that made that play. When you talk about, he had himself a day. Patrick Jones in the backfield doing a lot of damage. Those loops, he just looks like he was born to be a stand-up 3-4 defensive end or / outside linebacker. Yes, he's a stud. I think he was the one that made that play for Armand Watts. He was also the player that flushed out. I think it was Jarrett Stidham. No, it was Jarrett Stidham on that touchdown run that he had there in the red zone. I think that was the Raiders' first touchdown. So he did scare out Stidham there, and I felt like that was a good play on his part, even though it wasn't his fault necessarily. But he really did have a good day. Andrew Booth Jr. had that penalty. Yeah, he was definitely a fizz out today, but I'm expecting more in game 2. I think the former Clemson product has still got a lot left in the tank. Brian Asamoah, I think, from what I'd seen, he was a guy that continues to fly around, continues to do his thing. But, overall, if I'm being honest, I still feel like, this entire linebacker room has to separate itself a little bit, if we're being honest. So the DJ Wanham, DJ Wanham, what do you have, like 8 sacks last year? I was really expecting him to really come out. Now, I don't think they're using him quite as much because I feel like they really want to see what's going to go on there. But overall, as well as Janarius Robinson for that matter, I think he got pushed in the back on that DJ Turner touchdown as well. So, other than that, Lewis Seen got in there as well, made a couple of plays. And I think it was him and I want to say James Lynch that chased down, what would have been a touchdown on the Raiders' first drive that ended in a field goal. So, great play there overall. As far as special teams goes about it, Ty Chandler, man, he is balling. I'm really excited about Ty Chandler. Had that big return, had a couple of nice carries. He's going to be the real deal. Amir Smith-Marset, this is a battle in terms of kickoffs. Did Amir Smith-Marset did almost muff that, or was it a month, considered muff? I don't even know if it was a month. It was just a bad punt overall, but Amir Smith-Marset did struggle a little bit in punt returns. We got to get other people out there, see what they can do. Greg Joseph continues to do his thing, and then Jordan Berry and Ryan Wright is there as well as there for punting things away. And then now as far as the Raiders here, Jarrett Stidham, man, Jarrett Stidham he's doing enough to like make himself relevant. Went 10 of 15 for 68 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Nick Mullins, he threw a rope to DJ Turner, man. I loved that. I felt like he was a guy that stood in there. He was getting a little bit of pressure in his face, but just delivered it on time. DJ Turner. It reminded me of that. I'm a Vikings and a Raiders fan, but I'm going to date myself. A former Raiders player here and Vikings player, Randy Moss, who I think it was back when the Vikings brought him back in like 2011, 2012. There was a play where Brett Favre had Randy Moss deep, and he had Percy Harvin on a long crossing route, and DJ Turner looked exactly like Percy Harvin. The Florida fans looked exactly like DJ Turner looked exactly like Percy Harvin in that, where you stretch the field long, but then you're bringing a route underneath it to be able to kind of shock the defense with somebody that's speedy and won't be able to be caught. Yes, DJ Turner made a heck of a play there. I think it was Perry Nickerson that got burned on for the Vikings, but it is what it is. Both Nick Mullins and DJ Turner made great plays on that. And then Britton Brown, 14 carries, 54 yards, and a touchdown. Did have that fumble at the end of the game as well. It got me a little bit scared. But overall, I thought he had a pretty solid game. And this Raiders running back room continues to be crowded, continues to be interesting. So definitely something we're going to continue to keep an eye on. Austin Walter also had a pretty good game, 7 carries for 30 yards. Then on the receiving side of things, this wide receiver 3 for the Raiders is still kind of up in the air. I mean, DJ Turner had himself a good day, 3 catches, 58 yards. Demarcus Robinson, maybe it was Demarcus Robinson that looked like it was supposed to be that Josh Metellus picked that pass up, but Demarcus Robinson, 2 catches, 28 yards. Keelan Cole also had 4 catches, 26 yards. So it's really going to be interesting to see who separates themselves on this for that number 3 wide receiver spot. So I'm really excited to see that. Malcolm Kuntz, let's see, any fizzouts here for the Raiders? I mean, Britton Brown, I was close to putting him on that list, but no, he had a pretty good game that did worry me a little bit. But Zeus coming out here and doing some things as well. If not necessarily any fizzouts. Tyron Johnson, though, I wanted to see a little bit more out of him. But I'm not going to put him on that list. I think that it's just going to be one of those things where he's going to get more reps as the season goes on. As far as fizzouts, on the defensive side of the football, man, that it was really rough for the Raiders defensive line. That second team, guys like Matthew Butler, they just didn't seem to be able to hold their own in terms of that pass rush, either the pass rush or the run game when those second teams went in. The Vikings were able to run the ball pretty effectively. Also, you saw Malcolm Kuntz, man, he's a stud, definitely a standout, had himself a great game. And we'll do a deeper dives on this, but just from what we'd seen, I felt like even Deshaun Bauer really did a good job, the former Viking, and showing what he could do as well. So, I think this was a pretty good game by the Raiders. They did a really good job of both getting after the quarterback. I would still like to see some more solid run defense, but we'll have, that's just going to be something that gets itself figured out later on here. But overall, the Raiders emerged victorious 26-20 in this game, and I'm excited to see how the rest of this plays out for both teams. So, also Daniel Carlson, of course, the Vikings let this guy go, after a couple of games missing 3 straight kicks, and then now he's an All-Pro. Great. It is what it is at this point. So, I really was encouraged by what I saw from both teams. My 2 favorite teams going at it, and I'm really excited to see how their seasons go this year. But let us know what you guys think about, both the game and our new segment, Standouts and Fizzouts. Make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Leave a like and a comment. It helps people find the show. We greatly appreciate all the support that we've gotten and continue to get. You guys are all truthfully awesome. We love every single one of you. Down in the description below, you'll find all of our social media platforms, so give us a like and a follow there. Also, remember to give us a listen and sub on iTunes. And finally, if you have anything else you'd like us to cover, send us an email at thesportsbp@yahoo.com or put it in the comment section down below, and we would love to cover it. But let us know what you guys think about our latest segment, both standouts and fizzouts from the Las Vegas Raiders versus the Minnesota Vikings, and your thoughts on the game overall.